Hey guys, this is Yoda. Blizzard recently released the newest patch for PTR. They also swapped the dungeon pool, so it's the 4 War Within dungeons plus Ecodome. And they made quite a few balance changes with this patch. So some changes to Unholy, some changes to Sand Lane. Not really sure if this changes much. For Blood Decay, it's like not really much of a change at all, except small survivability loss from this. So I don't think there's that much changing. Frost Decay nerfed by 12%. Breath of Cinder Ghost, I believe it extends for less now, so it's harder to keep it up, but it does more damage while it is up. Frost Decay does seem to still be doing a lot of damage, so I would say this was a warranted nerf. It is still, it's like not dead or anything. Loon's Chosen, Guardian Druid buffed. Unfortunately, tripling 0 is still 0. I think from what I heard, the tier set is now like 6% of your damage instead of 2%. So, great. Moonkin is down horrendous. I think it's probably still good in the big pull dungeons, but in terms of like having a spec in bringing a spec to all the dungeons, I don't think it's going to be very strong. At least not with current tuning. Feral, this doesn't really change anything. This is a single target change for raid. Some evoker changes, not really sure what it all means. Prez Evoker, this is actually very big for Prez Evoker. One of the biggest weaknesses for Prez Evoker was that one-shot checks were just infinitely harder compared to other healers because you're just missing like Mark of the Wild or, stamina plus lenience plus powered shield. So this definitely is going to help Prez. Prez already does massive damage. I would not be surprised to see a lot of Prez Evokers doing well on live. The more Hunter nerfs, MM definitely needed the nerf. I don't think this is going to be a big enough. Honestly, MM still does a lot of damage. Would not be surprised to still see it topping meters. BM Hunter is still doing pretty well, but not like ridiculously insane well. Some mage changes. From what I understand, Arcane the tier set has been significantly nerfed, and Fire is quite a bit stronger than it was before, especially in big pulls. We will have to see, as the week plays out, how strong Mage really is. Mystic Touch reverted. Thank goodness. Kind of wish they would just revert all the raid buffs, but it is what it is. Prot Paladin eats another nerf to damage. Not sure why they're so bent on nerfing Prot Paladin damage, but whatever. So Hammer and Anvil can no longer trigger twice on the same single Blessed Hammer, which means that it can no longer give you 2 Masterworks with 1 Blessed Hammer, which is a pretty big nerf to lesser weapon. I've not really had the chance to fully check exactly how much damage loss this is, but I'm eyeballing it at about 5% based on some of the keys I did today. Rhett receives massive buffs, not only to single target, but also looks like melee to single target, to be honest. Looks like mostly a single target buff, but Red has been doing pretty big damage in keys, looking to be, as strong as it was last season now instead of just down bad. Some pretty significant Void Weaver nerfs, I think. Ooh, the Force set actually got buffed for Disc, but for Shadow, I believe the Force set got nerfed. Yeah. Force set was nerfed. Shadow, I think, is still doing okay damage, but we kind of saw this coming. Shadow was doing way too ridiculous damage. Or have to see as the PTR unfolds how much damage it actually does. Rogue is up good. All 3 specs seeing pretty massive buffs. I'm excited to see how many rogues end up playing this week on the PTR. Do stay tuned. Looks like from the few keys I did today with the rogue, their damage seems competitive, like with Shaman and everyone else. The only problem is that they just don't do, a raid buff. Enhance eats a small nerf for AoE. Honestly, pretty good change, I think, since if they nerfed the single target, it would have been terrible. And Enhance was kind of performing. Enhance still does pretty good, so I would say this is not a big nerf at all. Warlock got massive buffs. I'm not sure exactly how much since I don't really speak Warlock, but from what I understand, from what I've heard, it's like 10 to 12 or more % for all Warlocks. So look to see some of them testing out the changes on the PTR over the coming week. And DPS Warrior got some small buffs. Really don't know. Haven't seen anyone play DPS Warrior or Warlock for that matter. It's really hard to get a gauge, so do stay tuned as we play more PTR this week. Hopefully we run into one of them. Not really going to do a full tier list update, but just wanted to go over the patch notes. Really sad about the Paladin nerf. Hopefully all tanks get some damage buffs or something coming up. Anyway, those are the patch notes. Thanks for watching. Peace out.